Okay, now let us move on to the next section, irrational numbers. So let's look at the numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Now you might know what is special about these numbers. So what is so special about these numbers? They are called as square numbers or perfect squares. Why do we call them square numbers? So consider a square of unit of length 5 units. Now its area would be 25 square units. So if we take the numbers 1, 2, 3 or 4 as the sides of a square, so the area of such squares will be 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, just like we saw. So that is why we call them as square numbers. These numbers form areas of squares. But consider the number 15. Now consider a rectangle of length 5 units and breadth 3 units. Its area is 15. So no matter how much we try, we cannot make a square of some length so that its area is 15. So 15 is not a perfect square or a square number. So can you please check whether which of the following numbers are square numbers? Okay, I leave that an exercise. So we saw that 5 times 5 is 25, yani 5 into 5 is 25. This is represented as 5 square. We add a little 2 to the right side top of 5 and we read it as 5 square. So if it was 5 into 5 into 5, 3 times you multiply 5, we would have written it as 5 cube, that is 5 to the power 3. So 5 square is 25, and the reverse we say root of 25 is 5, that is it is read as square root of 25 equals 5. So if 5 square is 25, in the reverse root 25 is 5. Okay, so square root of some number capital N. Square root of some number capital N is the number k such that k into k is capital N. Just like we saw, the square root of the number 25 is the number 5 because 5 into 5 is 25. In the same manner, the square root of a number n is k if k into k gives us the number n inside the square root. So can you find out what is the square root of 121, 169, 225 and 324? Okay. Now we have learned the Pythagoras theorem before, which states that if we have a right angle triangle, the square of its hypotenuse is the sum of the squares of its base and altitude, or here hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus altitude square. So now let us consider a right angle triangle whose base is 1 unit and whose hypotenuse is 1 unit. So what will be the length of AC? Now we know AC is, it's AC, please correct this as AC. AC is root of AB square plus BC square. AB is 1, so AB square is 1 square, which is 1. BC is also 1, BC square is 1 square, which is 1. So AC is root of 1 plus 1, that is root 2. So the length, so this length is root 2. Okay. So what is this number root 2? So we don't know what this number is, but what we know is it is some number such that when we multiply that number with itself, we will get 2, just like we saw in 5 times 5 is 25. Some number root 2 is that number such that that number into that number will give us 2. वो जो नंबर है उसे जो उसे मल्टीप्लाई करे देता है आंसर 2, which means root 2 into root 2 will give us 2. So if 5 into 5 gives us 2, we write 5 square is 5 into 5 gives us 25, we write 5 square is 25. Now we know that root 2 into root 2 will give us 2, so we can write root 2 square is